Welcome back, everybody, to the Carlette Christmas Show. This morning we're talking about something that's on the mind of everybody. In fact, I think it's top of the mind, and that's crime. Crime in every city, USA. Well, this morning we're joined by an officer from the city of Alexandria, and of course, Alexandria has its own set of challenges, just like many. Our guest this morning is Public Information Officer Lieutenant Lane Windham. Lieutenant Windham, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
Glad for having me.
It's a hard subject, especially for those people who have been the victims of crime. And so some people look and say, well, it's the mayor's fault, or it's the police force's fault. Whose fault is it?
It's really nobody's fault. It has a combination of events that just happen. You can't really blame the mayor, you can't blame the police chief, you can't blame anybody for high crime. One of the reasons is high crime is going on throughout the nation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Some crimes are trending down. If you pull up the FBI's UCR, which is the FBI's Uniform Crime Report,
Mm-hmm.
they take reports each year from all the police agencies, sheriff's offices, and they compile results. For the last 10 years, if you look at those results, burglaries, armed robberies, bank robberies, all that is trending down.
And speaking of bank robberies,
We had one.
listen, we deal with, at our team, they're all 20-somethings. And
Okay.
you know what they said? They
What?
said, that's so 1920s.
Yes, yes. Yeah, Al Capone
Yeah.
and Babyface Nelson,
Yeah.
all that, Dillinger, yes.
So what about that? You know?
Well, we called him with the help of the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office. We got him.
Mm-hmm.
He had robbed a bank in Texas. He had gotten caught.
Mm-hmm.
He had spent some time in prison in Texas. When he got out, he decided he would go back to robbing banks. So he robbed 3 banks in Texas. And
Did he get away with those
He
robberies?
got away with all 3 robberies in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He wandered over here to Alexandria and decided he would rob the bank there, Memorial Drive. So he went in and he robbed it. And
Did he get any money?
he got a small amount of money.
Okay.
And he got out, but luckily the bank employee saw what vehicle he got in and immediately called us just as soon as he walked out the bank. We were there within a few minutes. We loaded, and just pure luck, Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office was running narcotic intervention on I-49, and as they were setting up to do that, the bank robber drives by them in the described car, and he was like, there's no way, that's just, it's got to be him or not. So like, yeah, let's go stop him. Stopped him, sure enough, it was him. So he gets out of the car, puts his hands up, y'all got me, I robbed it. He's like, oh, hang on a minute, we got to put cuffs on you.
Wow.
So he gets out, we bring him back, he gives a full confession, and tells us basically that he got out, started back robbing, and he confessed to every bank that he ever hit. He wanted to go back to prison.
He wanted to
He
go.
wanted to go back, yeah. He said, I'll give you a confession if I get federal time. I don't want the state, I want federal time. And so we contacted the FBI, because naturally when a bank robbery occurs, you know, they help with the investigation. We contacted all the banks and the jurisdiction that he had robbed in Texas. We arrested him for the bank robbery here, and then later on they put detainers on him so that he would have to go back to their jurisdictions and stay on trial there. So he will be in prison for a long time this time.
Wow. So what about all of the murders that we're seeing, especially in Rapides Parish and even more specifically in Alexandria?
2021, we had the most homicides that the city of Alexandria ever had. We had 34. This year, to this date, as of today, we've had 18. So far, that has went down some. And around starting at the last part of 2019, 2020, and 2021, the violent crime and the homicide rate spiked tremendously all across the United States. And it wasn't just here in Alexandria. Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, San Francisco, LA, everybody had a spike in homicides. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was coming off the COVID, the pandemic, if people were just agitated, I'm not sure. But it went up tremendously. We had,
As a police force,
yes,
and it's happening in many cities, what is the police force and the leadership, the mayor and the chief, what do you come together? What does that sound like behind the scenes about what to do about it?
well, as far as the homicides here, luckily at that time I was over, in addition to being the public information officer, I was also the lieutenant over the detective division. during the 2021, we had the most homicides. And we had an 86% solvability rate. That's the highest in the state of Louisiana and one of the highest in the nation as being able to solve our homicides. In fact, we've had, there was a company out of England, London, England, that actually called and talked to me because we had stood out among all the other cities in homicide solvability rates. The reason we could do that is we have some excellent police officers in Alexandria. Sure, we need more. We're short. We're 40-something short. But the ones that do work there, the men and women in the Alexandria Police Department, go well above and beyond what they're called on to do. They took their oath seriously, and they're doing an excellent job at doing what they're doing. We're patrolling all the time. The mayor and the chief, they basically do their thing, you know. The mayor does his thing, chief does his thing, but it's the men and women of the Alexandria Police Department that's working above and beyond to make sure that everyone's safe here. They're working extra hours. They work 12-hour shifts to patrol. They'll stay over an extra 6. They'll come in on their days off. Detectives will work over. They're doing what they can to make sure the citizens are safe.
And so what do you think, Lieutenant Windham, about gun control and the increase of guns, and many of them illegal guns on the street, and then people who are law-abiding citizens like myself now feel like to be safe, I've got to carry a gun?
It's a shame that that's the society that we live in now. The majority of the weapons, the handguns that we get from when we arrest somebody or we do a traffic stop are stolen. And they're actually stolen from people who have weapons in their home or weapons in their cars. One thing we'd like to try to get out to everyone, if you own a weapon, if you own a handgun, keep it locked up. If you
but then if you need to use it,
well, and what I'm trying to get, like if you go to work, if you leave your home and go to work, okay, when you get to work, don't leave your handgun in your vehicle. Okay, bring it in with you. There's concealed carry classes, or bring it in. In Louisiana, your vehicle is considered an extension of your home.
Right.
Your office place is considered an extension of your home. So if you can, bring it in with you.
Okay.
We're trying our best to keep people from leaving their handguns and their weapons in their vehicles. The burglary rate, the vehicle burglary rate, even though, according to the FBI, it's going down, in Alexandria it isn't. Our burglary rate is as same as it's been for several years. But one of the reasons that our burglary rate is high is people's not locking their vehicles. And if they do have a handgun in there and they don't lock it, they leave it where someone can see it. And then that's when we have the windshield, well, I'm sorry, the side glass is knocked out and they're stealing the weapons. If people would lock their vehicles, no matter where they're at work, home, wherever, make sure if they do have a handgun, it's not visible. Make sure if they have any valuables, it's not visible. The vehicle burglaries at least would go down tremendously. And these people wouldn't be getting the handguns. We take reports every week. We get at least 3 to 4 handguns stolen each week from vehicles that wasn't locked. They'll drive up to home or drive up at work. They won't lock it, but they'll leave their handgun in it. And that's where a majority of the handguns and weapons that the criminals are getting, that's where they're getting them from. They're stealing them.
And so are those weapons not being found until a crime is committed in most cases? In most cases,
right. That's right. We will, if we suspect someone of the homicide, we get proof and we go to do a search warrant. We'll search warrant, you know, his home or her home or whatever. Sometimes we'll find the weapons and we'll see that it was stolen from a previous burglary. If we do traffic stops, high intensity traffic stops, you know, in drug areas looking for things, lots of times we'll search the vehicles. If we have probable cause, we'll find the stolen weapons inside the vehicles. If the vehicle was stopped or the home was searched and the weapon wasn't involved in a crime, we try to get that handgun weapon back to the owner. If the weapon was involved in a crime, in other words, if your handgun was stolen and then it was used in an armed robbery or homicide, it has to stay, you know, because of the trial. It's locked up as part of the evidence, so you don't get that back.
And most people, I don't even know if you would want that back, especially if that gun was used.
Right, in a homicide or something, right? And a lot of people don't. So even in your homes, you know, it's good to have a weapon handy in case something, you know, happens. But if you're not there, or especially, you know, if you got kids there or whatever, if you're not there, keep those weapons locked up. You know, if somebody gets in your home, the last thing we want is for them to be able to really steal a lot. You know, you've got hunting rifles, hunting shotguns, handguns, different things. Keep them locked up. Keep one handy in case you have to defend yourself or your family, naturally, if you're there. But if you're not there, keep everything locked up.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break here, but when we come back, as we are approaching the holidays, there are some cautionary tales that we need to really be aware of. And also I want to talk about businesses being burglarized and what that looks like and how we can protect ourselves. Stay with us. We're back with more right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the Carlette Christmas Show. This morning we're talking about the crime. And I don't want to single out the city of Alexandria because crime is everywhere and it's rampant. But because we are in the city of Alexandria, we're talking about crime in the city. But how can we protect ourselves? Lieutenant Lane Windham is our guest this morning. I think that's what people are really concerned about. You're a law-abiding citizen, and you might lock your stuff and you might not. I know we got to get better.
Right.
But is there a way to really just protect yourself?
Sure. Be aware of your surroundings. You know, if you stop and get gas, if you go into a store to shop, even if you're at home, be aware of your surroundings. If you see something, say something.
Mm-hmm.
If you see somebody in your neighborhood that you don't know who that is, it looks like maybe that they're casing the place, or you just see a vehicle that keeps coming by slowly, call the police. That's what we're there for. If you see something, say something. Be more aware of where you're at and what's going on around you. I know in today's world that's hard sometimes. Everybody's got things going,
Mm-hmm.
but just a little bit of time to just look around. Hey, that looks not quite right. That wasn't there yesterday. I never seen that car before. Give us a call. If you see something, say something. Little bitty things when you're at home, lock your doors.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a garage door, put it down when you go in at night. You know, that way they can't just walk into the garage. If you have any type of power equipment, lawnmowers, motorcycles, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, keep it either locked up or put it behind a fence where people can't see it. Lots of burglars, lots of thieves will ride neighborhoods, and they'll see whether or not there's something there they would like to steal or break into. And they'll check and see when your car's there, when you're not there. And they'll notice if you have certain signs outside your residence or on your vehicles. If you have, I know back in the 80s when everybody was into the, I'm going to date myself a little bit, with the,
I'm right there with you.
with the blow pump, you know, and the Pioneer sound systems and all this. And Alpine, you know, they put all the stickers on their cars, and then they go outside and all their windows are busted out and their radios are stolen.
Right.
And it's because they just advertise the fact that they have about a $2,000 sound system in there. So if you advertise you own stuff, then that means you're giving the criminals a full blast billboard saying, I own this, come steal it. Just
And talk about Facebook and social media and how a lot of people are posting, I'm out of town, I'm out of the country.
Horrible. They'll put on Facebook, we're on vacation, we're at the Grand Canyon. You know, it's me and my wife and my kids and my aunt and my uncle, all the grandparents are here. There's nobody at my house. And so that's the last thing you want to do. If you want to post to let everybody know that you had a good time on vacation, post it when you get back. Most people don't know you're on vacation. Post it when you get back, all your pictures. And that's what they'll do. The last thing that you want to do is put out a lot of your personal business on social media. You don't want to let people know where you're at. You're not going to let people know you're not going to be there next week. Don't post, and I know people like to let other people know what they have. I understand that. But don't post that you have a brand new 65-inch television set that you have set up underneath your carport, for ball games. Don't post that you have a brand new sound system you put on your back porch to listen to LSU games that you can just walk in the backyard and take off the thing.
That's a sad commentary from where we are today.
It is. But that's what people do, and people will troll Facebook to see that. And not only that, in selling, this is something else I want to bring up too, in part of the Facebook. People buy and sell things off Facebook, and then you have Sinla and Rapids, buy software. If you have something to sell or you have something you might want to buy, try to meet them in a location. We have a location at the Alexandria Police Department on the Albert Street side that has cameras 24 hours a day. There's a telephone there. If you want to walk up to it, a police officer will walk down. Don't meet someone you don't know somewhere that you don't know anything about.
And people are doing that
They're doing that
a lot, especially for animals.
They are, and they're getting ripped off.
Yes.
We work a case of that at least once every week or 2 weeks where someone will call in, hey, this guy wanted to buy my dirt bike or buy my four-wheeler. I brought it, met him in Lowe's parking lot. He got on to ride it, took off, never came back. Yeah. Or dogs.
Or dogs.
Yeah. We'll let them. So if you have something to sell or buy, make sure that you meet them somewhere where it's safe for you and safe for them to make the transaction. That helps out immensely on that.
And I'm going to tell you, you know, on social media, you just don't know, unless it's somebody that you know personally, you just don't know what people's motives are.
Have no clue. And today, and like you said earlier, it's sad that's the shape of the world. But a lot of them, their motive is to either get the merchandise you're having to sell or get your money. And we've had actually robberies over that. We've had people meet to sell an item. They'll steal the item and then turn around and steal something else off the person.
Wow. And, you know, as we're talking about burglaries, this year, our studio was burglarized. It puts us all in a posture now where we have to get complete secured systems and cameras. And I just want to say personally that APD, because we had two occasions where one tried to burglarize and then the second time they did burglarize, but Alexandria Police Department has been absolutely phenomenal in coming out, checking the perimeter, just making sure that everything was secure. But in business, just like your business feels like an extension of your home, you just feel really violated.
You do, and it's sad that that happens. A long time ago, people didn't have burglar alarms, you know, but nowadays, if you own a business or a home, it's almost mandatory. And it's sad, but that's the way it is. The alarm itself, when somebody breaks in a window or door, it can go off. Motion lights, people are putting up motion lights, but something new that some people are putting up, and we've had good luck with this, it's an audible motion alarm. You know, you'll see motion lights come on, and people kind of get to the point of, okay, the motion light come on, look outside, it's nothing, or you'll see it. Now they have audible, so if it trips it, then you have a large sound that goes off. And I know police officers at night, they'll pull into a parking lot and they type on the computers their reports. They're not sitting there on Facebook. They're not watching movies.
Right.
You know, if you see a police officer in the parking lot, they're working. If they go to a call, they have to stop and they have to write a report. A lot of them will sit there with the window down listening. If they hear an audible alarm, then maybe they can get to a place faster than the alarm company can even dispatch. So a lot of people now, in addition to going to the regular burglar alarms, if you make entry into the building, the motion lights, now they're getting audible. And then also, if you're in a residential neighborhood and you hear a sound, it's like, oh, well, that's my neighbor. Okay, maybe you'll get up and look and you'll see the guy that's in the carport or behind the house. So that's helping out a lot also.
Very good. Lieutenant Lane, we want to thank you and the APD for taking the time to really just, we all know these things in many cases, but it's not unless or until somebody violates your home or your business that you really have a sense of, okay, we have to be on guard and we have to watch our surroundings. We can't get so busy doing what we're doing that we're not being our own advocates. Yes, we have the police, but they still got to get there. So we're going to continue to try to update the citizens, especially as we're coming up to the holidays. So Lieutenant Lane, we're going to want you to come back
Be my
and
pleasure.
really just talk about some things that we all need to take note and notice of, not just during the holidays, but all year long. Thank you so much for serving and protecting.
Thank you. My pleasure. Be glad to come back anytime.
Indeed. Hey, everybody, stay with us. We're back right after this.